to Tipsy Tuesday. I hope you all are having a fantastic beginning of your week, and thank you so much for coming out. We have a special guest today with us today. We are so super excited to hear his story. This is Paul Maynard. I'm not sure how long have you been in the industry?
Well, I've been in the industry for 10 years. With the online industry, really, not even a year. I have two different businesses, so I have been growing my brick and mortar business online. So I'm very familiar with online marketing and all that kind of good stuff. But within the coaching and all that kind of good stuff, it's been almost a year.
Yeah,
so, sorry, I'm setting up my other camera here.
Okay, we were just talking, Paul and I were just talking right before we started, and Paul got to hang out with Bert Bledsoe and go snowboarding, right?
Yeah, we spent a whole day together. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hello,
there's Stephanie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Issues. Kelly's having issues too, but I was on just a few minutes ago.
I know that's what Paul said. Paul was like, yeah, she was on, and then somebody was on, and then they left.
You guys,
I'm here.
Keep watching. So you guys, I'm also periscoping this at the same time. I've never done that before, but I see a lot of leaders that periscope some of their webinars and all that. So those of you out there that are marketing and want to share some content, you might be on webinars or hosting a webinar or whatever, make sure you utilize that periscope. I mean, I've got the phone set up on the side here. I got people commenting and saying hey, and it's a really great way to share content as well.
Yeah, good idea.
Look, technology. Oh, Stephanie, you're going to have to teach me how you do that.
Oh, my banner?
Yeah, how you have the lower banner on there while you're with your webcam.
Yeah, I learned that from Samantha, but it's Hangout Toolbox, right?
Yes, I believe that's the website. So, it's Hangout. Just Google Hangout Toolbox, and then you download it. And then whenever you get onto a Google Hangout, it gives you the option. And as long as you have that picture, like through the MLSP and stuff like that, your picture will automatically show up, and then you get to write whatever you write in every time you're on.
Yeah, learned something new today. Woohoo!
Yay. See, that's what Tipsy Tuesday is all about, right, guys?
Yeah.
Learn something, and now I'm going to turn around and teach it.
That's right. Okay, so we want to hear your story. I've got a few people on today. I'm missing the chat. Are you seeing the chat at all, Stephanie?
I am seeing the chat.
I don't see the chat, but I think it's like sometimes when I'm on the toolbar, like, I don't know, maybe I'll turn it off and see if I can see it.
So we want to hear your story, Paul. We want to know all about you and how you got here. I've seen some videos and things like that. So I want to know your story.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. My story. So I'm about to tell my story. So here goes, you guys. My name's Paul Maynard. I live here in colorful Colorado. I'm originally from the eastern part of Long Island in upstate New York. When I was 19 years old, I had an opportunity to come out to Colorado to work as a rafting photographer. So I packed everything I owned, put it in my car, drove out here, came here for one summer. I've been here for 30 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just one of those things, and it was really amazing because when I came out here, I had to hike into all these canyons, and I walked around with my mouth wide open because I couldn't believe how beautiful it was here in Colorado. And after one summer, that was it. And so, photography has always been part of my life. I did it all through high school. I got a job right out of high school with a photography job. It brought me to Colorado. I worked for a lot of different people. And then I started my own company back in 2006. Still had a full-time job. My son was in middle school at the time. I didn't really have a whole bunch of money. My credit was awful. And but I got sick and tired of working for other people. So that was kind of my journey in the home business arena. I didn't want to have a retail place. I wanted to be able to work out of my home. I really didn't want employees to deal with all of that. So I had to learn a lot of things when it came into photography. Like, it's really easy to pick up a camera and create images. and anybody can do it. Now, of course, you have to have some kind of talent, learn about lighting and learn about all this stuff, but I used to be a film photographer. You put the film in,
Yeah.
you shoot the film, you give it to somebody else, they develop it, they bring everything back, you turn it on, you sell it to your clients. Well, when the digital age came along, and this is all going to relate to online marketing, you guys, and home businesses and all that. But I had to, when the digital age came around, I had to learn Photoshop, and I had to learn Lightroom, and I had to learn how to do all these processes that were, oh my God, completely and total foreign to me. Photoshop is an animal, and it was challenging. It was really difficult. The point that I'm getting you guys about this is that there are going to be things that you're going to want to pursue in your life. If you have a dream, a goal, and you want to build a business a certain way, there's things you have to learn, and they're going to be really challenging and really tough. But you got to push through. You got to show up, and as you do them more, it gets easier and easier. So during that time, so I was in Colorado for maybe 3 years, 19, 20, 21. I think it was when I was 22 years old. Was at a party. It was the night before I was going to drive back to New York and go work for my dad for a summer because I was really poor back then. Like most of us were at 22 years old.
Yeah.
And so I was getting ready to drive back to New York, had my whole car packed, was at a party with a bunch of friends, and one of my buddies said, "Hey man, you want to go check out the missile silos out in Lyman?" And I was like, "Sure, let's go." Now, that day, my buddy bought a brand new car. He bought a brand new 280Z with the T-tops. Oh man, that car was beautiful. It was beautiful. And so it was probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. We get in the car. Of course, we grabbed a few beers. We drove out to the missile silos, hung out there for a while. It was the coolest thing ever. And when we were driving back, it was a dirt road, long dirt road, big hilly, up and down like this. Of course, my buddy was driving as fast as he could, trying to get air coming over the tops or whatever, just joyriding. We came to the last hill. We came over the top of that hill. There was a big yellow arrow turning to one way. And so he turned the car. That car spun around and the tail end of the car went into the ditch, and we went over at least one time. And the reason I know that it was at least one time is my buddy got ejected out, and we landed on the wheels. So I know we had to go over at least once. The whole right side of the car was crushed on top of me. And I was awake for the entire thing of this. It's really lucky I had my seatbelt on. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here. But so I laid in that car with it right on top of my face, and I felt like I pulled all the muscles in my neck. And I was like, I can't stand having the car right on top of me. So I crawled out of the car, and I took one step out of that car, and I fell down. And I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know what it was. But my body was saying, okay, just lay here. Now, I want you to think about this for a second, you guys, that if there's a missile silo somewhere, that means that it's built where there are no homes, there are no lights, there's nothing, okay? Really important for the story here. So as I laid on my back, I saw my buddy get up, lean up against the car, and I'm not going to get too graphic, but he basically had blood all coming down out of his mouth here. And as he was standing there, within seconds, I just saw him go and fall down. I thought he died in front of me. Now, I'm not a highly religious person, and whatever your beliefs are your own. I don't judge anybody. At that time, I prayed. I prayed for help. I prayed for somebody just to help not only myself but my friend. And kind of bringing up some things inside here. An 18-wheeler truck showed up out of freaking nowhere.
Weird.
Mind you, again, this is in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know how it happened, but he showed up. had a helicopter fly in. They flew my buddy out, and then they strapped me to board and drove me out. When they got me to the hospital, the first thing that they did was, of course, they gave me these crazy drugs and told me that I broke my neck, and they had to put a cage on. Have you guys ever seen one of those cages? Oh my God. I wish I'm actually going to go and buy one. I know it sounds really, really weird, but as I'm going to start speaking, I want to have these tools to show people what they look like. But it's a round metal thing, goes on your head, has a big metal bar on the top that they can attach weight to. But they take a screwdriver, and there's 4 screws, 2 here and 2 here. And as I'm laying on my back, watching the nurse screw this thing in my head, she's going, oh, it's not going to hurt, you're just going to feel pressure. Now, yeah, there was pressure, but there's nothing stranger than watching somebody stand above you with the screwdriver frickin' screwing screws into your frickin' skull. Yeah, it was pretty intense. And so what they do is when you break your neck, they want to put you in traction so they can keep everything nice and straight. And so at the time, my dad was running the skydive business, and he called up and was like, "Do you want me to come out?" I'm like, "No, Dad, I'm fine. They're taking care of me. You take care of business. It's all good." Well, 3 days, they kept adding weight to this device on my head, and there was more and more pain. Like, I didn't sleep at all for 3 days. I was just in excruciating pain. And the doctor's like, "Man, there is something wrong. Something's not right here." I'm like, "No, it's not." Now, on the back of your neck, you have these forks, right? They sit on top of each other. Your vertebrae sit on top. And so your vertebrae have, I call them forks. It's a medical term. But what happened was when they did the x-ray, they found out that the forks crossed like this, and they didn't see it. And my spinal cord est between my vertebrae, which showed I should have been a quadriplegic. When they showed me that, and I told them that I crawled out of the car, they're like, "You're so lucky that you didn't paralyze yourself when you crawled out of the car." So that was another thing.
Yeah.
So when they saw this like this, they're like, "We have to operate right now." And so, of course, they called my dad, and my dad was flipping out, freaking out. I mean, I'm a father too. I can't even, right? I mean, I can't even imagine what was going through his mind. It had to have been one of the most awful, I mean, I had an awful experience, but for him as a father, I can't even imagine how difficult that had to be for him. So and this was a very strange, when I went in for my operation, when they're doing a neck surgery, they have to keep you awake when they put you under, meaning that they have to get the air tube down your throat while you're awake. And so I'm laying there, and again, not trying to be too graphic, but I want you guys to hear the story because I'm hoping that it's going to stop you in your tracks and make you think a little bit. But they were taking this tube, and they were shoving it down my throat, and I thought they were choking me. I mean, that's what it felt like. I seriously felt like someone choking me, and they're like, "Relax, relax." I'm like, "Really? You're stuffing a tube down my throat. How am I supposed to relax?"
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard my air, like I was breathing through it, I remember waking up. Now, again, not a highly religious or spiritual person, but when I woke up, I didn't think I was waking up. I thought I was dead because all I saw was bright light. You've heard the stories, people walk into the bright light. Well, seriously, as soon as my eyes opened, that's all I saw was this bright light. I'm like, okay, those stories are true. But really what it was, I was on so many drugs, it was the operating room lights. And it took me a few minutes to realize where I was. But for that split second, and I remember it like yesterday, I thought that was it. I thought it was gone. I thought it was done. I was moving on to wherever it was I was moving on to. And so, the accident, the operation, that was the easy part. The hard part was the recovery. I'm right-handed. I couldn't lift my right arm. I had tingling all the way down in it, but I physically couldn't lift it. And so the doctor said if you want to be able to get used to your hand again, that you have to take your left hand and pick it up, and you have to move it constantly. And once in a while, you'll see me do it. It's a habit. I'll just grab my hand and I'll start moving around like, what am I doing? But like when I had to brush my teeth, I'd have to take my left hand, come down, push my right down hand on the toothbrush, pick it up, and do this. And you guys, it was so painful to brush my teeth. It hurt to do this. When I had to get up to go to the bathroom, it would take me 15 to 20 minutes just to sit up straight. It was so much pain. Like we take for granted just doing this. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do jazz hands. I couldn't do anything. And so that whole period, of course, all you do is you only have time to think. There's nothing else you can do. And I didn't sleep for months, and so I was just there with my thoughts. And so there was a lot of the time I was really angry because I couldn't do anything. I wasn't angry at my friend who got us in the car accident. In fact, I'm good friends with him. He feels guilty. I tell him not to feel guilty. We were just kids. Whatever. Life happens. But I was just angry at the world. I was angry at I couldn't brush my teeth. I couldn't get up. I couldn't. All the little things that are so small are really, we take them for granted. And you shouldn't take things like picking up a pen or picking up your phone to call somebody or having the opportunity to be able to pick up a book and open it up to read it. Breathing the air you can breathe. Being able to do this. Like the glass is full for me all the time. It is always an awesome sunny day. Everything is possible. Everything. Okay? So I'm human and I complain sometimes, and sometimes life just, that's how it is. It's called life. But 90% of the time of my life, I know that I can accomplish anything. I know that everything is possible. I know that with a positive mindset, I can do whatever it is that I apply myself to. Now, all of this stuff happened when I was 22 years old. So, I was into girls and partying. So I really didn't walk away from that at that time to apply everything that happened to me. And I always have been an entrepreneur. I mean, I read this when I was 19 years old. I always read kind of, positive books, but I never knew how to utilize it until I was older. But, that accident, you guys, really, I use it as power for me. It sounds kind of strange, but it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. Because I look back at that seriously on a daily basis and try to put myself back there to remind myself that anything's possible. That, if you're not getting the results that you wanted that day, that's okay. Just enjoy what you did that day. Taking the time to spend with family and spending the time with your friends, like, it's so important. And when I meet people, and I tell this story to every potential client of mine because I want them to know who I am. I want them to know my story so they see I'm real. But the connections that you make with people, it's just awesome. Like, I love everything about the online marketing space because I get to meet so many people and get to impact so many lives just by telling my story. And when I tell my story, then they open up to me and tell me their story. And then I have a new friend. And if they do business with me, great. Awesome. If not, that's okay. I just want to connect with people. I seriously just want to connect with people. I want to make an impact on people's lives. I want to motivate people and inspire them that they can do anything. And so really that's what my story is about. My story is really about just, I'm hoping that it's, I don't know. I'm just telling my story. So I don't know, is it inspiring to you guys? Is it motivating?
Yeah.
Do you have questions? Yeah. I don't know, because it's just something that happened to me in my life.
That motivated you. It's motivating to me because I never had anything dramatic like that happen. So
yeah, and I'm hoping that my story is going to help, you don't have to have an experience like that to motivate yourself, you know. I'm not fortunate that it happened to me, but I'm hoping that the story I can really share and impact people's lives. The next step that I'm doing is I've reached out, and I'm stepping way out of my comfort zone here, but I'm reaching out to a lady who she operates like 30 different schools that are sort of like Outward Bound type schools that I can go in and I can go tell my story to these kids and hopefully motivate, inspire someone to move on with their lives. And it's pretty scary, out of the box kind of thing, but I feel that if I don't continue to share this story, that I'm doing a disservice to the human race. I mean, I'm really thinking huge, big picture, that I have to tell this story. It happened to me for a reason. Even though it's taken me 26 plus years to start telling it, now's the time. Now's the time.
Definitely.
So really, you know, that's my story. I try to, you know, when it comes to my photography business and my coaching business, you know, I'm just putting myself out there. I'm just putting myself out there and let that story drive me. So
awesome.
That's kind of it in a nutshell, really.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love the fact that you just now recently come out with the story, and I'd like to know why you came out with the story, how coming out and being yourself and allowing your story, because I think that so many people get trapped inside of, you know, trying to be someone else online because we just get uncomfortable, because the truth is that some of us don't even know who we are really yet, you know, because we haven't done the development and the mindset. So how did you finally break through to be able to share this story and, you know, inspire people?
Awesome. Well, that's a really great question. So back in November, my dad has been operating a skydiving school for 27 years. He's been a skydiver for 40 years. He's got 5,000 plus jumps. It's been like his absolute passion. You know, live, breathe, eat skydiving. This last year, he experienced a second fatality, and it was just a freak kind of accident. He saw somebody, you know, die right in front of his eyes, and he, after that experience, came to me and he goes, "I'm out. I'm done." And so, which was very strange because I don't know my dad doing anything else, just skydiving. His passion, absolute passion, to see a man who spent his entire life all of a sudden take a step back and go, "I'm out. I don't even want to skydive anymore." So it made me take a step back and go, am I, as much as I love my photography business, because I absolutely love creating art, I took a step back going, you know, I want to continue doing photography, but there's something more that I have to offer the world, which is inspiring other people. I just didn't know how to go about doing it, and I was also scared. I'm being perfectly honest. So that was the first event that happened. Then my dad, he sold his business, and then he had a stroke, a mini stroke. Scared the living daylights out of me. I mean, he's my best friend, and he's okay now. But that was like, holy crap! I need to get on it, you know. A few weeks later, my mom had some real serious issues where she had some internal bleeding and had to go get an operation and went through all these things. And so my parents went through this. It was like a 6-week thing, and they're not together, but separately, I was dealing with these 2 different issues. And so that made me go, you know what? That's pushing me to start telling my story. I don't know why I wasn't telling it before. Actually, I do know why. It was all fear. I was afraid. I don't know. I guess what people would think. Maybe what people, and you know, I'm not that well spoken. I'm learning to get better. I'm, you know, with my grammar and my spelling, and even when I write my story, you know, thinking about what other people were going to think about me, even though I don't care what other people think, but I'm a human being. So like we all deal with these kind of issues. So those people that are out there that are afraid to be themselves and tell their story, you're just going to figure out a time to go, you know what, you'll be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's what's really it, Samantha. I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired of not being completely 100% myself. And now I'm just letting it out. The floodgates are just open, and I'm just going. And yeah, you know, I've experienced some haters. I've experienced some people, you know, saying stupid stuff on Twitter and Facebook and whatever. You know what? Whatever. And that's going to happen. There's just people like that, unfortunately. You know, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
You know, so that's really what kind of made me come out and start telling my story. I think my story it's also going to help me take the next step of doing some more public speaking, because I have something I can start with that I'm passionate about. I don't know, if you have everybody has a story, you know, it may not be as dramatic as mine, but everyone has a story, and as fast as you can just say, I don't care what people think, and start telling it, you're going to attract people to you. It just happens. I mean, and as I've been hanging out with other industry leaders, it's the same thing. They all tell me the same thing. They're like, just be your freaking self. Just be yourself. And tell your story with passion.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's been saying that since I've been getting involved, and I'm like, why am I not being myself? Why am I trying to be someone else? And we all do it for some reason. And those of you that are new, maybe you're watching this, you know, you're watching this recording, go look in the mirror and be like, man, just be yourself. Look yourself right in the eye, just be yourself, and you'll have so much more fun. And what's really interesting is that you will start attracting people to you. People will start coming out of the woodwork as soon as you start being yourself. It's blowing my mind. I seriously, every day, somebody calls me, and I'm like, oh my God, wow. Because all I'm doing is I'm just being myself. You know, people talk about strategy and traffic resources and how my Facebook page should be and whatever. None of that stuff really matters. It just doesn't matter. You know what that's from? It just doesn't matter. I think it's Meatballs or something with Bill Murray. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, you guys. It doesn't. Just tell your story, share value with people, help other people, put other people first, and you're going to become wildly successful, whether you want to or not, just by sharing your story. So that was a long-winded answer, I know, but
it was a good answer.
Absolutely. Does anybody have any questions for Paul at all? I agree with you, you know, just definitely coming out and being yourself. I think that a lot of people struggle with, actually, like for me at least, a big struggle of mine was really, who am I? You know, where do I come from? Because for so long, for me, like you were talking about spelling and grammar and stuff like that, I was I've had a learning disability my whole life. I went through elementary school. They said that I was good, and back, you know, I'm a 1975 baby, so when learning disabilities were, you know, assigned to people, we got put in with people who literally, you know, had a hard time picking up a fork and, you know, or pencil to write. So I was, you know, head of my class. But I lived with this for a very, very long time, and I hid it my whole life. I mean, I have high school friends of mine who would probably watch this and be like, what? Because I would drive away from school and then go back to school and retake my test, because I didn't have to have the time test, but I didn't want anyone to know, because I mean, not like, you know, I wasn't popular, but people knew me. I was, you know, I didn't want that tag put on me. And so for so long, I hid that forever, until this industry and getting into this industry and starting to work on my mindset, which I had no idea about. You know, I mean, my mom said, you can be whatever you want to be. And that's easy for all of us. All of us were told that. But the truth is that it takes work to get there. And it doesn't just take, you know, the strategies, like you were saying, and that kind of stuff. It takes mental work to get yourself to the place where you're comfortable with being you, and you're okay with the fact that, I mean, all my Tipsy Tuesday people on here, they can testify. I'll say some crazy word that doesn't even make sense, but they get me. They understand, and that's okay. And I think that, being able to come out as yourself is one of the hardest things to do, and you really have to work on your mindset in order to get to that place to where you finally go, wait a minute, so my story, who I am and what I've been through, there could be someone else out there. And as far as I'm concerned, most of us entrepreneurs, at least some of the ones that I've run into, a lot of us have trouble spelling, have trouble, have had trouble reading and stuff, and that's the reason why we work for ourselves. So I mean, it's been so inspiring to have you here, Paul. It's just absolutely amazing. I'm so excited to, be in the community with you and really get to know you. I love the fact that you're here in Colorado. We have to definitely get the Colorado crew together. There's a bunch of us here in Colorado.
Yep, absolutely. And, I just want to piggyback off what you're saying there, Samantha, is that, the mindset, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, or maybe you're not even have a business, maybe just personally, or maybe you're in sales for a company, or maybe you're working as working your way up the ladder. Mindset is the most important skill that people need to work on a daily basis, and it's so simple. It's as easy as picking up a book and just taking 10 minutes and reading. And you do it every day. You start your day off in the morning with reading something. And before you go to bed, you read something. And as you do it consistently every single day, then what happens is your subconscious just starts having all of these wonderful, positive thoughts that are running around into your brain instead of reading the news or listening to the news or watching the news and all the negativity. As you put these thoughts into your brain every day, whether it's reading or a webinar or a podcast or a call that you listen to, man, it just can set you up for a really awesome day. And the more you do it, the better you feel, and it just starts to come out of your skin naturally. So any of you out there, work on your mindset. Don't ever miss it. It should be a non-negotiable for people on a daily basis.
Yeah, I'm always like, people go to the gym and spend an hour at the gym and, work on their body, but until you get this right, your body can stay as big as, or whatever, in the shape that you don't want it to be, because right here, as long as you're still doing whatever it is that you're doing, or the reason, I wish I could remember who it was that I was listening to, and they talked about, I want to say it might have been, I think it was Rob Ford. He was talking about how, there's certain people, like, let's say an overweight person, an overweight female. This was exactly one of his examples too. An overweight female who loses weight and then gains it right back and doesn't understand she's keeping track of her whole thing. And the truth is the reason why she's overweight is because something bad happened to her when she was young. Yep. And every time she gets skinny, that feeling, although it's not in your head telling you, hey, this is the reason it's happening, that feeling of, I'm not safe if I'm skinny and attractive, just automatically starts, having you do the same habits that you did. So getting your mindset and understanding and going back and having to deal with some stuff really, is going to take you to the levels of success that are unimaginable. But you have to get that part right, which is something that I had no idea. I'm like you. I've been an entrepreneur. I used to make glasses and go to craft shows. My husband and I had a screen printing company in Florida for 7 years. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and I never ever worked on my mind until a couple years ago.
Yep, it's amazing. It's powerful.
It is, and becoming you, and finally, like you said earlier, Paul, about being you and coming out and just being you and forgetting about the strategies and forgetting about all that and just sharing your story and inspiring other people will bring you success is just, it's absolutely true.
Awesome. Woohoo!
So yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for coming out.
Absolutely. Anything I can do to share and help other people, and I'm just hoping that I can motivate, inspire, and get people to get off their butts and just start taking action, living your life to the fullest. It's short. It can change. It changed today. So embrace wherever you are in your life because it's awesome.
Perfect. Do you have anything you want to add, Stephanie?
No. You guys are good. You guys are good. Thank you.
If anyone has any questions or anything in the chat, please feel free to ask any questions, and please throw in the chat and let Paul know that we appreciate him coming out to our Tipsy Tuesday group. We meet here every week at the same time, and we are so happy to have you and have your story shared with us of inspiration. And it is absolutely, it's really opened my mind because it's true. I mean, I could walk out that back door right now and be paralyzed. You never know what's going to happen to you. You got to be very happy for every moment you have.
That's right. Thank you.
So, gratitude and be grateful.
Yes. Yes. Wake up every morning with gratitude. And just like, I don't know if you guys saw Brian Finale's webinar on making 2016 the best year yet. And but when he talked about, because I've kind of been researching a little bit of meditation and things like that, and when he was talking about meditating and how he does that in the morning every morning, and how he, what I knew about meditation before listening to him was that, you cleared your mind and tried to control your brain and all that stuff, and I was practicing all that. And then when I heard him say about, using your visualization to get you, into that, get your subconscious into that place, it's really been an amazing thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Brian Finale is pretty amazing. And I started doing it in the morning, and I was doing the same thing, Samantha. I was trying to control where my thoughts were, and after listening to his webinar, just kind of let it go and visualize where you want to be. Boy, you just feel really good, And it's so simple. And all you're doing is breathing and visualizing what you want in your life. It's pretty awesome.
Yep. It's just the consistency of doing it every day. Every morning I wake up, and before I do anything, and I used to turn on the news and see what the weather was going to be like and see what everything, not anymore. I sit down and I write what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for waking up, first of all,
Yeah.
But, write down 5 things in the morning that you're thankful for, and then go into that place. Just like Brian Finale said, the morning is your time. If you jump onto Facebook right away, then you're allowing someone else to control your day, because you wake up, you don't know what you're going to see. I mean, you could see an inspirational video by Paul, and if you have not gone over and met Paul, let him know that you saw him on Tipsy Tuesday. Go over and make a friend with him, because he puts out amazing videos, and they're just very inspiring. So definitely go. But you just never know what you're going to see. Sometimes you wake up and someone had a loss. And I'm one of those people that will carry that with me all day. It breaks my heart. It's, so just make sure that you wake up in the morning and you're working on you. No matter how you do it, you can get on YouTube. You can look up inspirational, motivational stuff on YouTube. You can read a book, get on a wake-up call, whatever it is that you have to do to get yourself into that mental state of success and happiness.
Right.
Most important is the happiness, being happy with yourself, being happy with who you are, and your story will inspire somebody. There are people out there waiting for you.
That's right.
You just got to be you to do it.
Mm-hmm. Why be someone else? That's too hard. That's too hard.
It is very hard. So thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you, Paul. Please let him know over in Tipsy Tuesday that you enjoyed him. Go over on Facebook and find him. I'll write his name right now in the chat. You can also come to my Facebook page, and you can find him through a post that we've done on Tipsy Tuesday Mastermind and all that good stuff. So
And
for all
thank
of
you, Samantha, for inviting me. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate the fact that you guys, one, let me tell my story, and thanks for listening. It's it's pretty moving to have a place where I can share it. So thank you.
Yeah, it makes my day better. I really don't want to be here, so it'll be okay now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys all so very much for coming out. Thank you, Paul, for sharing your wonderful story with us. And for all of you, happy Tuesday, happy Valentine's Day. Take care of those loved ones. Let them know that you love them, because they are the reason why you work as hard as you do. So enjoy it, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. Oh yeah, one quick thing. Tonight, we are starting a webinar series. It's going to be the same webinar done every Tuesday in order for our team and things like that to be able to find out more and learn more about how the tools work and all that stuff. So if you guys do want to come to tonight's webinar, it is going to be awesome, and it's going to be our first, and we need your feedback and we need your help. So jump on, view it, tell us your feedback and all that good stuff, and we'll see you later. Thank you all so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.